Jason, you said before the game that this last stretch had kind of been a test of your spirit and faith. How did it feel tonight to see the guys, especially in the fourth quarter of a back-to-back, looking pretty spirited?
Yeah, I think sometimes I bring up things because we talk about it as a team, and I thought the team just didn't execute the game plan, but the spirit, I think you guys have asked a couple of times, how is the locker room? And I think you can see that in back-to-backs. You can see that if it's a close game. In this group, you could see that they were into the game. I think Moses and Josh gave us a spark tonight. They were up on the bench cheering for those guys, and that's what it shows that we are a team. And as much as we can talk about shooting, you know, guys were cheering defensively. Again, we hold a team under 100 points. As we talked about before the game, we just need 3 or 4 guys to score, not everybody, and that's kind of what happened today.
Sorry to make you look ahead. I know there's 2 days, but the matchup with Rick and getting to coach against him now, I guess, how significant will that be for you when you, I guess, now have to look ahead to know that, you know, the history you two have together and now getting to coach against him with this franchise?
Yeah, you know, to win a championship with Rick, this won't be the first time I've coached against Rick, but understanding the circumstances of him being in Dallas for a long time and winning a championship and being a great coach, not just in Dallas, but for a coaching career. And so it's just an honor. He's got a young, talented Indiana team that, you know, can put a lot of points on the board. There will be a lot of emotions, not for, you know, for me, but more for the guys that have played for Rick for a long time. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go.
Jason, in the fourth quarter, things got even testier than they had been throughout the. How much of that was y'all being able to keep your cool in that situation?
Yeah, it's a great question. I want you to ask our players that, because at halftime, that was one of the things that we talked about. A lot of times, everybody wants to talk about X and O's. We talked about, you know, pride and composure. Who's going to keep their composure here in the second half, because it is testy. A lot of times when you play a team, you know, so close, you know, almost in a sense of back-to-back, things get a little testy because you know what's coming. And so we did a great job in keeping our composure. We just, again, trying to find a way to win on the road. You gotta play above the whistle, and I thought the guys did that tonight.
Kevin?
You mentioned briefly about Moses and his contribution tonight. What has been the message to him throughout this season about staying ready as he continues to prepare and get better, and how he was able to really capitalize on his minutes tonight, providing the guys the spark that he did? Yeah,
well, I think when you we'll talk to Moses. Moses prepares as if he's going to play, and I think that's one of the things. I think Sean has done a great job. Sweeney has done a great job in preparing him to play. He comes early to the arena on game days, and he prepares as if he's going to play, knowing that he probably is not going to play. But understanding today and yesterday, we talked about it as a staff of getting him into the rotation, and tonight it fit for him to participate. You know, we talked about it yesterday, and I felt today would be a good, you know, time to get him in the rotation, and he was great for us.
Landon?
Hey, Coach, a few games ago you said this team has to play defense. Tonight they hold Grizzlies to 40% from the field and 29% from 3. What's your assessment on how the team played on that side of the ball?
It was great. Not just tonight. It was great, you know, holding, you know, the Grizz to 97, and then last night against the best team in the East to 102. So we're playing at a high level on the defensive end. Offense is starting to come slowly. This is a good sign tonight, shooting 48%. And not having to take, you know, 40-plus threes, and also shoot over 36%. So we're going in the right direction on the offensive end too.
Last one, Luke.
Yeah, Coach. At times it feels like things get a little stagnant on offense, but one guy that helps, you know, get out of that is Reggie Bullock with his movement off the ball, cutting, ability to find seams in the defense, that sort of thing. Can you talk a little bit about what Reggie does on the offensive end besides simple shooting that might go unnoticed or underappreciated?
Yeah, I think, you saw that tonight, the baseline cut to get a layup. Some of the things, understanding space, just his shooting ability, he creates space on the floor. And so for him to be able to move, because, again, we are a jump shooting team, to be able to move the pieces. Also with Luka handling 90% of the time, it can get where we stand around waiting for Luka to get, cause a problem. So I thought today's reads of being able to slot cut or be able to baseline cut were great.
All right, Callie, go for it.
Yeah, Moses, take me through what these last few weeks have been like for you in terms of preparation and how you were able to kind of get yourself to a place where you feel like you're tonight.
For me, it was just all about staying ready and just staying locked into what we were doing. Just have the same approach as if I would go out there and play every day. And, pretty much that's it, just staying locked in.
When you would do something well tonight, the bench would absolutely go nuts.
Right.
How does it feel to have that support behind you when it's like the level of like a Boban three-pointer?
Mm-hmm. Man, it's such a great feeling, especially like when you see how much work these guys put in and how much work you put in alongside them. You just can't help but to be happy for them, and vice versa. And I just like the environment for that.
Kevin, we're moving over to Zoom.
And Moses, Jason talked earlier this evening about you constantly staying ready and staying professional and staying locked in. For you, what does that mean in terms of your daily preparation and then being able to capitalize on a moment like that gives you confidence that you would continue to do this as you get more opportunities to do so?
Yeah, just to echo what you said, just staying ready and just having that sense of urgency, just knowing that when you get on the court, you have a job to complete and you're going out there to do that and only that. And everything that comes from it is just you and your effort. And I just try to maintain that same mentality every time I'm on the court. And even if I'm on the bench, just staying locked in as if I was out there. So, that's pretty much it.
Last one, Landon.
Hey, Moses. The Grizzlies are second in the league with 48 rebounds a game. Tonight, your team holds them to 40. Can you elaborate on the effort, specifically in the paint, winning that matchup?
Yeah, it was a big emphasis today to just hit them first. We know the Grizzlies are a very physical team and are a very good rebounder, so we wanted to come out there and make sure we hit them first and be as or even more physical with them. And during the duration of the game, we maintain the physicality and they lose their composure. So, that's just a credit and a testament to coach and my teammates.
Okay.
Reggie, take me through what was just feeling good or working well for you out there tonight, especially from three.
Just the confidence to keep shooting. Everybody in the organization, everybody on the team, they believe in me shooting the ball. It's just all about me, just catching the rhythm, making sure I'm down, ready to shoot it every time. And I just felt confident seeing one go in. I know it's been a long time coming, like I said earlier, but it's good to see one go in. And as you see one go in, you just keep continuing to build off of it.
Before the game, Jason had mentioned that there were some guys that he really wanted to keep encouraging to keep shooting and to not let that doubt creep in and not make that extra pass that you may not want to shoot. Is that something that you've been pushing through and kind of working on the last couple of games? Is like you said,
yeah, I'm definitely one of them guys that he kept pushing. Coach is a great coach. He's a player coach, and he definitely instilled a lot of motivation and confidence into his players. He don't really care if the motherfucker hit the side of the backboard, as long as as a shooter, you got the confidence to really keep shooting and believing in your shot and believing in your work ethic and believing in your routine. By all means, he wants you to shoot every time. So with me, it's just me just keeping confidence, not thinking about it, and just continuing to shoot my shots on the open.
What do his motivational waves look like? Like, how does he instill that in you? It's only a couple of months here now that you guys are together.
Eye contact. You do it with eye contact.
Like during the game?
During the game, during practice when we're going over film, he allows his players to answer questions. What we talking about out here? What can we fix on the court? And he just give us that motivation, give us that confidence to be able to go out there and try to fix things ourselves and continue to keep shooting.
Coach said that there was a discussion at halftime about y'all keeping your cool and composure during all this, and obviously in the fourth quarter, things got even more intense than they were in the first half. What was the difference in y'all keeping your composure then?
We knew that it was going to be a hostile environment coming in here with the players, and you know, it's a lot of chippy on both sides of the floor. But as long as we kept our composure, the whistle fell on our side tonight. We kept our composure in the fourth when things was getting heated, and just try to stay within the game and keep playing the right way, and it worked out for us tonight.
Kevin? I'm moving over to Zoom.
Reggie, obviously tonight you get the ball into the basket and see some shots go down. Did you feel earlier on in the season, as coming over to a new team, did you feel like you were pressing a little bit, or was it just more so, look, I just got to get myself in the rhythm, and eventually shots will start to fall as you continue to get more comfortable with this team?
Yeah, it was all about rhythm with me, trying to find out where I would be able to get my shots at, how I would be trying to get them. But I had some of these same looks over these last few games, and like I said, I wasn't hitting. But tonight I was able to hit, see some shots go down, and just try to keep building on that confidence and believing that I'm a great shooter, believing in the work that I put in, and continue to keep shooting the ball.
All right, we'll do one more, and then we have Moses standing by. Lance, go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Reggie. So in light of your shooting burst tonight, do you have any opinion of the NBA changing the game ball from Spalding to Wilson?
I mean, it was an adjustment for me, coming into this year, being able to, get used to that ball. Obviously, for the last 8 years, I've been shooting with a different ball, but to get used to it, it's all about, just me continuing to keep shooting. I can't really talk about the ball because when I look across the league and I see the shooters that's in the league that's still shooting the pill pretty well, it's just all about me continuing to just keep staying in my reps, continuing to keep believing in my shot and mechanics.
All right. Luka, it seemed like especially in the second half, you were really looking free and looking excited. Was tonight kind of like a relief to finally get back on the winning column and put together a really good fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think it felt really good for everybody to get a win. We've been struggling lately. But today, it was a physical game. I think we responded really well.
And it seemed like you were celebrating, and everybody was kind of celebrating a little more than normal. Was there kind of like an extra emphasis on really closing this one out and just maybe trying to dig yourself or pull yourselves out of that stretch you had been so good?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Last game we had a 17-point lead and we blew it, I don't know how to say it.
You're good.
Yeah, but and today, we just needed to secure the win, and that's what we did in the fourth quarter.
And I'm sorry to make you look ahead 2 days from now, but getting to play against Rick for the first time after spending your first 3 years with him, what do you expect those emotions to be like? Jason said that he thinks the players that were with him for a while might feel a little extra something.
I mean, I think obviously there's going to be emotions, He's been here for, 10, 11 years, even more. Yeah. And, he brings a championship to Dallas. Everybody respects him in Dallas. But as, obviously there's going to be emotions. But we're looking forward to that game.
Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
Luka, in a game like this, where obviously things can get chippy throughout a game, how are you guys able to keep your composure? As Jason talked about, that was the message at halftime about keeping your composure. How are you guys able to do that, especially in the fourth quarter to get the win tonight?
Just stay together. I think we did a great job, like I said, closing out the game. We knew we needed that win badly, and we just played physical back. I think that was our key to the win today.
Luke?
Yeah, Luka, how much does it help you specifically as the primary ball handler to have a guy like Reggie out there who's really good at moving off the ball, cutting, and finding the open seams in the defense?
I mean, yeah, it's really important. He got a couple cuts. He got open shots. We know he's going to knock them down. And we trust him, the whole team trusts him.
Okay, we've got 2 more. Landon?
Hey, Luka, a few games ago you said it's not about just defense or offense. It's about getting better at both sides of the ball. Tonight, your team did that, shooting 48% while holding the Grizzlies to 40%. What's your assessment on nights like this with your team on both sides of the court going your way?
Yeah, I think we got to do this more, you know, especially, I think, especially in the back-to-back, we did a great job. You know, it's always tough to play back-to-backs. But today, I think we did a great job, like you said, on both ends, and that's what we got to do more.
All right, we have one in Spanish, Leonardo.
Lucas, te saluda Leonardo Torres de Perú, felicidades por la victoria. Lucas, luego de una derrota tan dura como la que sufrieron frente a Nets, ¿cuál fue la mentalidad para encarar este partido?
Bueno, como siempre digo, hay muchos partidos en esta temporada, siempre hay que estar juntos y creo que, como has dicho, creo que respondimos muy bien.